Dissolve!
He had decided, today, he would test the heart of his city. It wasn't a game. It wasn't a prank. This was a mission born from countless moments he had seen beggars ignored, children left hungry, and people walking past suffering as though it didn't exist. Lagos was full of life, yes, but was it still full of kindness? His plan was simple but risky: disguise himself as a mad, homeless man and beg for food. Not for money, food. He wanted to see who would help, not out of obligation, but from genuine compassion. He opened the bag he had prepared the night before. Inside were the tools of his transformation: a faded green shirt with holes at the shoulders. He smeared sand on the shirt, rubbed charcoal on the trousers, and let the dust settle into the fabric. Then came his face and hair. Normally neat and well-kept, his hair was now twisted into messy clumps with a mixture of water, hair cream, and dust. He darkened his cheeks and forehead with more charcoal, giving his skin the tired, weathered look of someone who had battled the streets for years. When he looked into the mirror, even he had to pause. The man staring back was unrecognizable, dirty, tired, and hopeless. Outside, two of his friends prepared to follow him discreetly with hidden cameras. They would keep their distance, blending into the crowd, capturing the day's events as they unfolded. Today, Chispeltz wasn't just a young man. He was a living test, a question mark walking through the heart of Lagos. Every step felt like he was carrying the life of a man who had slept under bridges and begged for scraps, and today, he was determined to carry that life convincingly. His friends were somewhere in the distance, cameras hidden, blending into the sea of strangers. They had agreed on one thing: no one would know this was an experiment until the very end. Everything had to be real: the reactions, the words, the stares. Taking a deep breath, he walked into the market. Chispeltz stood quietly for a second, waiting for her to notice him. "Good morning, Ma," he said in a voice so soft it almost got lost in the noise. "Please, I never chopped since yesterday. Fit help me with small food." The woman's eyes lifted slowly from the yam. She took one long look at his dusty hair, his charcoal-stained cheeks, his torn trousers, and then her expression hardened. Without a word, she waved her hand sharply, as if chasing away a stray dog. "Oya, go, go, go. No day stand for here." The rejection was swift, final, and cold. He nodded slightly and moved on, his stomach tightening, not from hunger yet, but from something deeper. The man was scrolling on his phone, barely noticing the world around him. "Brothers," Chispeltz began, forcing a small, hopeful smile. "I never chopped since morning." The man glanced up, frowned, and immediately looked back at his phone. This was going to be harder than he thought. He kept walking, weaving through the crowd. "Before I call boys for you," the man snapped. Before Chispeltz could move, two other men emerged from the shop, their expressions hostile. "Ogre, make we just chase him," one of them said. The tall man nodded. "Yes." "Oya, move. Move now." One of the younger men took a step closer, his hand raised as if ready to push him. That was when Chispeltz caught sight of his friends with the hidden cameras at a distance. They looked tense, ready to step in if things went too far. Deciding not to risk escalation, Chispeltz muttered, "Okay, I day go," and walked away quickly. By now, the insults and suspicion had become a constant companion. Even children stared at him with wide, curious eyes. Some laughed, others whispered to their parents. Near a bus stop, he approached a woman eating bread and beans from a nylon bag. He asked, gently, if she could spare just a small piece of bread. She didn't answer. Instead, she shifted her bag away and moved down the bench. A man sitting nearby looked at him and said, "Ogre, if you no go enter bus, make you comet." He walked away again, the knot in his stomach tightening. The day was wearing him down. His throat was dry, his energy was fading. The humiliation wasn't just in the words people spoke, but in the way they looked at him, as though he wasn't worth the air he breathed. Still, somewhere inside, he kept a fragile thread of hope. He told himself that maybe, just maybe, someone out there would see past the dirt, the disguise, and the smell, and treat him like a human being. And that someone was closer than he thought. "Good evening, Ma," he said, his voice hoarse from the hours of speaking and being ignored. She looked up from the bread she was arranging. Her gaze swept over him, the dusty hair, the worn-out clothes, the tired eyes. "Yes," she replied gently, though there was a hint of caution in her tone. "Ma, I never chopped since yesterday. If you fit just help me with small bread, I go thank you." "Even if N.A. the smallest one," he said, his voice trembling, not entirely from acting this time. She looked at him for a long moment. He could see the thoughts in her eyes, weighing his words, his appearance, the baby in her arms, the bread on the table. Then, without a word, she reached into a small purse beside her. From it, she pulled out a crumpled 200 Nigerian nairas note. "Take," she said, stretching her hand toward him. "Go buy something to eat. God go help you." For a second, Chisbelt just stared at the money. She didn't know him. She didn't owe him anything. She had a baby to feed, bread to sell, and probably bills waiting for her at home. Yet here she was, giving from what little she had. His throat tightened. He took the note slowly, murmuring, "Thank you. God bless you, Ma." People took the bread, some with surprise, others with quiet gratitude. The bread seller's eyes widened. She shifted her baby to her other arm, watching in confusion as the man she thought was hungry shared the food. Finally, Chisbelts walked back to her table. By now, his friends with the hidden cameras had gathered closer, recording openly. The woman looked at him, puzzled. "Why you no chop 'em yourself?" she asked. It was then that he smiled, the first genuine smile of the day, and said, "Ma, I need to tell you something. My name is Chisbelts. I'm not really homeless or mad. I'm doing a social experiment to see how people will react to someone who looks hungry and poor." Her eyebrows shot up. "N? So, all this N.A. test?" "Yes," he nodded. "Since morning, almost everyone chased me away. Some insulted me. Some even tried to beat me. But you gave me money. You have a baby to take care of, yet you still help me. That kindness means more than you know." Her lips parted slightly, and he saw tears beginning to gather in her eyes. Chisbelts pulled out a thick bundle of cash. "This is for you," he said softly. "For your baby. For your shop. For your kindness. God will bless you even more." The woman gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. "Jesus! This is too much." "No, Ma," Chisbelt said, shaking his head. "It's not too much for what you gave me today.